It's our 3-year Vaniversary. Let's see how our embassy van is holding up.
Hey, Guy and Roseanne here. Welcome back to Amore Van. It's been 3 years since we bought our beautiful Embassy Class B RV, and we thought it's time to do another review. So, just to put this review in context so you know what to expect and what not to expect, right? Um, we have previously done, shortly after we bought our van, a full-blown tour of the van. So that's not what this is. We'll put a link in the description of this video if you want to see that tour. We also did a 1-year review where we went through every system in detail, right? That's not what this is, right? And we'll put a link to that review. Then we did an update review at year 2, and now this is our update review at year 3. So we're going to talk about what's changed between year 2 and year 3, okay? And then we're going to talk about the major systems and how they're holding up. So if you want to see the tour and either of our year 1 or year 2 review, you can look in the links in the description, and we're going to be sort of picking it up from there in this video. So as we did with our first year video and our second year video, we want to start by just telling you the couple things that are different in our van since last year, changes that we've made. The first one is right down here. So the running board itself is not new. You've seen this before. But what we did was have the running board lifted. So you might be aware that Embassy has replaced this style of running board with a different running board that sits higher than ours did. And we liked the idea of getting the running board a little higher off the ground because we did have at least 1 or 2 instances where on some rough Forest Service roads we scraped the running board, and we were interested in getting it up higher. And so when I first contacted Embassy about that, about the possibility of getting the new running board, Embassy very helpfully told me that it wasn't necessary to get a whole new running board, that they could put the old running board on the new brackets to lift it. And that's what you see here. And so I'll do a split screen here that shows you what the running board used to look like. But basically, as you can see, it used to sit 2 inches lower. And in addition to being down 2 inches, as you can see in the split screen, it was tucked under a little bit. And so there was this gap between the vehicle and the running board, and it was tucked under a little bit, which kind of took away some of the width of the running board when you were stepping out of the van. Now it has this much cleaner look without that gap. You get the full width of the running board to step on, and just as importantly, it's 2 inches higher off the ground. And so just talking about maybe this section back here by the rear wheel, the evolution of the vehicle since we've got it. When we first purchased the vehicle and drove out of Elkhart, this was 8 inches of clearance from the ground to this running board. Then we got a 2-inch rear lift, and this became 10 inches of clearance. And now that we've had the running board put on new brackets, we've got a full 12 inches of clearance. So quite a bit of difference from when we originally purchased the vehicle. We've got some great clearance under the running board. A little bit lower in the front because we didn't have the front lifted. But still, it's much better. It's a kind of a confidence booster now for those rough Forest Service roads. So that's the running board. The next big change Roseanne's going to tell you about.
So the next big change we made was we got the sliding window on the sliding door side. We did not have that option when we purchased the van. Now in the newer vans, windows are an option, but for the older vans, this is an option now, which is amazing. So immediately we have the Max Air fan, and now we have the sliding window. we hardly ever use the air conditioner. Just having those on, the breeze that comes in here as soon as you open the window is amazing. I sleep on the passenger side, so I still can feel the breeze, which is nice. So it's a major difference in circulation of air. We don't need the front screens or that we used to put in the windows in the front.
The Greg Johnson screens, which are great.
Yep, and we may need them at some point. This is not a no-see-um screen, just so you're aware. So when we close the door, I open up the bug wall screen, and because the bug wall screen is a no-see-um screen, but you get an amazing breeze, a much stronger breeze coming through with the bug wall screen open and the window open. And it's adjustable, you know, when you leave, you can close it this much if you're gone for the day, or leave it open at night. Like here in this beautiful campground, we had it open all night.
There's the campground we're at.
I don't think anybody was
spectacular.
Yeah. So major difference in airflow in the van.
You can really feel that as soon as you open the window.
As soon as you open the window, yeah, with the fan on. And I'm sure even without the fan on, you know, just a major difference.
And we have a do-it-yourself mod in mind to deal with the fact that that's a regular bug screen and not a no-see-um screen. It's not an issue right now, but we know when we get to Florida in the winter, we're going to want to deal with the no-see-ums.
Because the no-see-ums are terrible.
So I'm going to deal with that by the time we get there. But for now, it's a fantastic change, and we're so happy we made it.
Yes.
If you are still driving around in, I guess I could have you look at me. If you're still driving around in an embassy that, like ours, that was sold before they offered the opening window, do yourself a favor and go back to Elkhart and have this done. You'll be glad you did.
So as you know, the Embassy family is an amazing group of people, and we share all modifications with each other, whether we want to do them or not. So this was shared with us. It's a mod by another family, but shared with us with a second family, so as not to reveal the last names. So it's a hook up here that flips up, and then there's this clip-on fan. So to take advantage of my side not always having great airflow, or this fan helps push in a little more air on my side, and it tilts and flips and works great, and it has a bunch of different settings, and so I love it. I like this one. It really circulates the air, and if Guy wants one on his side, he can get one as well. But
so in addition to the Max Air fan, which you know that we have, that's really pulling the air in through this window, that fan helps pull even more air through that window and direct it down at Roseanne's head.
Or wherever you want it. Yeah. And so that's really the newer mod inside the van. I always like to change up my covers, so I added new covers that I find material, and I just put a hem in it. So this is our winter fall change. We do have a stealth pillow, and that's really it.
The stealth pillow is from our embassy friend Marge, and we'll see if we can find a link for Marge. I'm pretty sure I can, and I'll put that in the description. What makes the pillow stealth is it's got a, of course it's not stealth for anyone watching our video now anymore, but it has a, let's just say it has a hidden compartment.
Has a hidden compartment
if you need to put something in there,
right.
For security purposes. Of course, Embassy provides a locking cabinet as well for that reason.
So I guess one of the last things that we did, but we've had it for a while, I was always trying to figure out how to increase the storage area in this back wardrobe cabinet. So I bought these stackable containers from the Container Store, and they're deep, and they're deep both ways. And so I have two that are drawers. One is an open bin. And I didn't get the full width because sometimes you have something a little bit taller that needs to slide in here. So this fits some taller items, the distance between the space and the cabinets, the wall and the cabinets. So I liked it that way. There's space on top. I have some towels and anything that is soft you can shove on top. Um, and it fits a lot. There's a lot in here.
Okay, so that's what's new. Now let's talk about, after 3 years, how the van is holding up. So to put that in context, let's talk about how much we've used it. We've used it a great deal. We are at 55,000 miles. We've been all over the country in it, and so we've really put it through its paces, so we're in a good position to tell you how it's holding up. Um, First, let me just talk about the Ford part of this van. Our Embassy Dolphin S, as you know, is built on the Ford Transit van. The Ford has held up quite well. We'll talk about a couple of little things, but all the major things, what you might think of as the mission critical things about the vehicle, are fine. We haven't had any breakdowns. We haven't been stranded anywhere. We haven't had anything, a break that required immediate repair, with the exception of some damage done by some little animal who chewed through a hose. But can't blame Ford for that, right? And it again, it didn't cause us to be stranded. It was something we could deal with, when we had a chance. The Ford has been quite good. Maintenance-wise, let's talk about what has needed to be done. Early on, the Ford needed a couple of minor, what I'll call electronic tweaks, perhaps not surprising in light of the fact that this was a COVID year build. So the electronics came with a couple of flaws. There was one related to the airbag sensor that had to be repaired during year one. What else? There have been some recalls that involved the software. The rear camera in particular was very balky. It's now working, mostly okay as a result of a recall. There's another recall pending that the fix isn't available yet, also related to the rear camera. We still have problems from time to time with the left side camera of part of the 360 system. Ford hasn't quite figured that one out yet. But for the most part, it's the rear camera that really matters most, and the front camera, and they're working quite well. And so as far as parking and not hitting anything, we have everything that we need. The other thing we had to do recently related to the Ford was have the lubricant replaced or refreshed, or whatever the right word is, in the rear differential, because we were getting a sort of low moaning kind of noise when turning hard to the right or hard to the left at slow speed, like you might do if you're pulling into a parking space, right? And so we didn't know what that was, other than friends of ours who have the same vehicle had the differential fluid refreshed, and that did the trick for them. And sure enough, that's what the dealer recommended for us, and that has done the trick for us. Anything else with the vehicle that you can think of that we've had to deal with?
We got new tires.
We got new tires. We decided to get new tires around 42,000 miles. Our old tires actually looked fine at the time, and even the dealer who sold us the tires mentioned that the tires look good. But we'd known people who'd had tires blow out when their tires were in the 40 to 45,000 mile range, and we just don't believe in taking chances like that. So even though they look fine, we replaced them anyway.
And we had the Sumo things, not Sumos. We had something in the front.
Yeah. So that's it.
Not Sumos, but
it is a Sumo coil. If you've followed the channel or you've watched our older videos, you know that we had Sumo springs put in the rear as part of a 2-inch rear lift when we first got the van. If you want to hear about that lift, look back in our channel to some of our earliest videos. We'll talk about that lift. But recently we had the Sumo coils put into the front.
It makes a difference, I think. You notice it initially, and then after that, you don't even notice that there's something there, and that I think it rides a little smoother in the front, not as bouncy, I guess, when you hit some bumps. But I don't notice it anymore that it's there's a change.
Yeah. And I think it actually holds up the front end a little bit, so that when we had the rear lift done, without doing the front, and we're not going to get a front lift done because we don't need it, and it's very complicated. But we had the rear lift done. It caused obviously the rear of the van to be slightly taller than the front of the van, and I think the Sumo coils in the front lift that front a little bit, and offset that angle a little bit. Other than that,
for the car,
I think the Ford,
I think
it's been fine. Knock on wood. We haven't had any major issues, despite 55,000 miles. So here's to the next 55,000.
Hopes we didn't just jinx ourselves.
So that's it with the chassis. Let's talk now about what everybody really wants to hear about, which is the embassy portion of the build, the RV portion. And so let's walk through some of the major systems, and we'll talk about how they're doing. And I'm going to start with what I continue to think of as the star of the show in this van, which is the electrical system. We have the 920 amp hour lithium battery. There's no generator in this vehicle, nor is there a generator in any embassy van, except to the extent that the second dedicated alternator in the chassis, up front in the engine, is of course a generator for the lithium system. It's a powerful alternator. That is an issue we had early on, so let's talk about that. When we first bought the van, it came with a Balmer alternator. I don't know what it is with Balmer, but Embassy had to swap that out for us once with another Balmer, and then finally we gave up on the Balmer and got a Nations alternator. The Balmer alternator, it was junk. It never worked right. It squealed. It did everything wrong. But ultimately, when we went with the Nations alternator, which we did now more than 2 years ago, that took care of that, and it works great. As part of the overall electrical system, we never have trouble with power. We almost never even have to worry about it. Our camping style is typically we're not in the same place more than 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And so, by the time the battery gets low, we're back on the road, and the alternator charges it very, very quickly. The only time we tend to be in places for more than 3 or 4 days, it tends to be a campground that's got, shore power, and so then that's not an issue either. We have been sometimes places more than, back to back, places without shore power, without a lot of driving in between, and the battery will start to get a little low, and then we just idle the engine.
Right.
We'll idle the engine if we're running the coffee pot or things like that. The microwave, to keep it from getting low. So it's never been an issue for us. It's a great vehicle in that regard. Right now, at this minute, we are in a beautiful campground in South Carolina on Lake Kiwi, and it's South Cove County Park. If you're ever in these parts,
it's beautiful.
It's really a beautiful
Very
campground.
pretty.
We have this lakefront campsite. It's spectacular. And we have shore power. Now we're on day 3 right now in this campground, and we have yet to plug in.
We're at 48%, I think that's.
Yeah, 48% we're at. We're going for a drive in a little while, and so it'll charge up a bit, and we may or may not ever take the plug out. That's not unusual for us to be in a campground with shore power and just choose never to plug in, because we don't have to, and so why bother? So I can't say enough good things about the electrical system. Plumbing, Roseanne, we haven't any trouble with the
No
water?
issue with the water. No. The drain drains and the water flows, so it's fine.
And we drink the water. We always have.
We do drink the water. It goes through 3 filters, I think, plus then the ozone, and
that's right.
So it's well filtered.
It's well filtered. It's purified by the ozone system. We have the original ozone system that Embassy used to use called No Dirty Water. They've since upgraded to a different proprietary system, but they both do essentially the same thing. And we drink the water. We've been drinking the water for 3 years, and we're still here to talk about it. No issues in that regard.
And if there's at a campground, if there's a wash sink in the campground, I wash my dishes there. So we basically use the water that we have in the tank for drinking, coffee, cold water. I do wash the dishes, but I'll use the hot water from the teapot as opposed to the water in the sink. So that's how we conserve our water that way.
So the water has been great. We haven't had any significant leaks. We've had in the sort of area of the plumbing under the sink a couple times. A very, 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 very slow drip that almost always just required something to be slightly tweaked, and so no big deal. For the sake of completeness, we'll mention one continuing nagging issue with plumbing, and it's an issue Embassy has been trying to work with the Elwell manufacturer with. Elwell is the maker of the heating system here. Both the heat and hot water come from an Elwell system, and it works great. It does everything it's supposed to do. The van is toasty warm when we need it to be. We have no trouble getting hot water when we need it. But the single issue with that is if the hot water hasn't been run for a few days, when we turn the hot water on, go ahead.
The heater is not on, but when we turn the spigot on the sink to the hot water level, I guess I should say, the water comes out brown.
Yeah.
But only for a short amount, like a few seconds, you run it and then it's clear.
So something inside the Elwell heater or the couplings to the Elwell heater is causing some kind of corrosion or rust. And Embassy has kind of been in a back and forth with Elwell to get them to repair that. We're not the only people who have had this issue. It's not anything that bothers us tremendously because it doesn't happen with the cold water, which is the water that we're using to drink, obviously.
Right.
It's solely when the water is coming from the water heater that we get it, and it clears up in a few seconds.
But you have to understand, it's not when the heater is on, for us anyway.
Well, it's not only when
when the heater is on. Yes, if you just want to clear your spigot and you turn it to the hot water level, it comes out brown initially, but not the cold water.
So it's a mystery. They're still working on it, but it's no big deal. I'm sure they'll figure it out eventually, but it's a few seconds of inconvenience waiting for the water to clear when we turn the hot water on. That's it on plumbing, I think.
Yeah.
So electrical, great. Plumbing, great. All the Embassy systems, like the powered sofas, have never failed us, other than the very first day when we had to change a fuse to an upgraded fuse. But ever since then, they have worked flawlessly. Refrigerator, we have the Vitro Frigo. I know there was a period of time, I think, where some of the owners who got the Vitro Frigo, they must have had a manufacturing problem and they got lemons. But our Vitro Frigo has worked fine.
Works fine.
And always has
a lot of space.
Knock on wood. that continues to be the case. The fridge is working fine. Um, Air conditioning, we have the older split system. Works fine for us. We did get the upgraded larger fans at one point, which helped to quiet it down a bit outside. I still would not call it quiet, but it's quieter, significantly quieter. We don't worry so much about it anymore on the rare occasions when we use it, which is quite rare indeed. We try to camp places where it's not really hot. And ever since we got our Max Air fan and one other change that you just heard about, which is our new window, we really, I don't think we've used the air conditioner for more than 5 or 10 minutes since then.
Maybe at home when we've been working in here to make sure it worked.
Yeah,
before we left.
But when we do use it, it works fine. But there's a new system now, so if you're watching this video because you're thinking about buying an Embassy, your air conditioner will be different. So, but ours works fine. What else? And those are the major systems. Everything works. Nothing's broken. No major problems. Minor problems, have been readily repaired. So I think we continue to give Embassy the same thumbs up we always have. Maybe even a bigger thumbs up, because it's easy to love and appreciate a vehicle that's brand new. But now we're 3 years and 55,000 miles in, and all of that time has simply proven that we made a great choice for a quality build that is, it behaves like new as far as we're concerned. I think that's it on the review of our systems.
TV still works when you have a signal.
All that
we
other
don't
stuff.
Connect to anything else. We just use the antenna that's out there.
We did recently get a Starlink Mini. We just haven't used it yet because ever since getting it, we haven't been anywhere where we don't have a signal. So, so someday we'll tell you how that's working out once we have a need for it and use it some more. That's it for our 3-year review of our Embassy RV. It's an excellent vehicle. We can't recommend it highly enough. God willing, we'll be here a year from now to give you our 4-year review, and of course we'll have many videos for you between now and then about our travels and any other exciting things we do to the van. Until then, as always, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not yet a subscriber to our channel, well, shame on you. But if you're not yet a subscriber to our channel, please think about subscribing by clicking on the Amore van icon that just popped up on your screen.
And we'll see you next time here at Amore Van.
Bye-bye.
We hope you found this helpful, and we'll see you next time here at Amore Van.